Well, NFL fans,
we're back!
You gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it.
way to kick off the year with the AFC Championship rematch, the Ravens versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs' hunt for the three-peat begins, and the Ravens try to take their revenge from last January by doing what they were supposed to do in that game: run. With Derrick Henry now in the fold, this offense is unpredictable and can hit you from anywhere. With the new DC and key pieces leaving, it's fair to say Baltimore's defense could take a step back. So I'll pick the Chiefs to win and start their season off with a W. Now for our Friday night game, for the first time ever in Brazil, we've got the Packers taking on the Eagles. Both teams ended their seasons in completely different ways despite completely opposite expectations for both of them. Now coming into the season, Green Bay is officially a target, and the Eagles hope to shake off whatever was plaguing them towards the end of last season. Both teams took the offseason to reload and get ready for another deep run. As much as everybody has the Packers as a top 5 contender, just looking at their roster, they don't stack up to the Eagles. So I have Philly leaving South America with a win, but for Packers fans, it wouldn't be anything to be ashamed of. We'll start off Sunday with the Steelers taking on the Falcons. 2 new quarterbacks. Well, I guess not really new. Basically veteran quarterbacks on new teams. Chef Russ and Kirk O'Chains have been enlisted to put both these teams over the top. Offenses might struggle getting out of the gate, but something tells me this could be a defensive standoff. For me, I'm thinking just because of Arthur Smith's disaster class play calling, I'm going to give the game to the Falcons. Oh, that's right. Arthur Smith is the OC for the Steelers now. Get ready to learn Canadian, buddy. Then we're going to have the Cardinals taking on the Bills. Y'all remember the last time these teams played? Man, how far the Cardinals have fallen. But this time, they're coming into year 2 with Jonathan Gannon and have Kyler Murray healthy to start the season. While this team's roster is talent deficient, it'll be exciting to see Marvin Harrison Jr. make his debut for this team. As for Buffalo, they come in with a completely overhauled offense and defense. Josh Allen can still make things happen, and Sean McDermott always puts out a good defensive product. So for that reason, I think I have the Bills blowing out Arizona in the first game. But it's alright, it's only week 1. This next game is actually low-key interesting. We got the Titans taking on the Bears. We got the Bears and Caleb Williams in his first NFL regular season start, loaded on offense with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze. This offense could be fun to watch. And if their defense builds on how they finished last year, it'll be hard not to root for this team this year. Now on the other side, we know the Titans are going to roll with Will Levis. And in addition to already having DeAndre Hopkins, the Titans also got Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, and Tony Pollard in free agency. And from looking at what they've invested in their defense, mainly their secondary, something tells me that this Titans team is not tanking. I personally think this is going to be the best game in week 1. But for this matchup, I got Caleb Williams and the Bears starting this era with a very close, hard-fought victory. Now for our next matchup, we got the...
You want to know what I think about the fucking Pats versus the Bengals? Here's what I think. Joe Burrow has a million fucking nicknames. Quit trying that shit. Do better on the field. Speaking of which, you're fucking injury prone, Joe. Quit looking for mama in the fucking stands and just play ball. Defense, trash. Absolute garbage. Pats can definitely capitalize on that. Bengals always start the season slow. Strike while the iron's hot, know what I'm saying? Watch out for the Pats, baby. Love the Pats. Alright, let's go Pats.
Oh wow, we are never doing that again. Alright, anyways. Patriots versus Bengals. Joe Burrow is healthy and is back to get these Bengals back into contention. Now, based on recent history, the Bengals tend to start slow and struggle to start the season. Luckily for them, they got the Patriots in the middle of a rebuild, trotting out Jacoby Brissett. Bengals could be without Jamar Chase, if not in just a limited capacity, but I'm going to have the Bengals winning this one, possibly off an Evan McPherson game-winning field goal. Now we got the AFC South showdown, the Texans versus the Colts. Another chapter in the CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson saga. Of course, Houston's going to try and come into this game and set the tone early, picking up right where last season left them. Now as for the Colts, there's still questions surrounding this whole team. Like, is Anthony Richardson really that guy? And if he is, can he stay healthy? You got questions on the defense. Outside of Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, there's still a few questions on that offense. But anytime Houston and Indy get an early season showing, it's usually really close. But this time I got the Texans squeaking this one out. Next up, we got the Floridian face-off with Jacksonville taking on Miami. Both quarterbacks just got a big payday in the offseason, and both are coming in from a disappointing end to a season of high expectations. With the AFC as crowded as it is right now, one of these teams needs to get off on the right foot here in week 1. Now, based on recent history, Miami has always started the season off hot, so I'll give the edge to them in this one. But that's not to say that the Jags are a pushover. It's very possible these teams will be fighting for a playoff spot at the end of the season, and this particular matchup will be pivotal for tiebreakers. Next up, we got the Panthers taking on the Saints in this NFC South shit show. We're Where's the bourbon? I mean, I guess the Saints believe in Derek Carr, maybe giving him another season to see what he can do. And then on the other side, maybe there's new hope for Bryce Young and the Panthers with Dave Canales. What am I doing? Saints are going to win. Panthers are just terrible. And with that, the Saints get my lock of the week by default. Next up, we got the Vikings taking on the Giants. And oh my God, can't we just send this in Madden, please?
So it's a win for the men in blue. The Giants get it done.
I guess Madden Sims don't count, so I guess I gotta talk about this one. Both quarterbacks, bad. Team situations, bad. I mean, my God, there's really nothing to talk about for this matchup. So, to keep it short and sweet, I'm gonna have the Giants winning because, fuck it, I said so. Now for our late afternoon window, we start off with a classic matchup between the Raiders and the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh's return to the NFL. Got Justin Herbert back, healthy-ish, with a whole new offensive scheme and new weapons, in addition to losing almost all of their offensive skill players. The Chargers should still be ready to go up against the Raiders, who are rolling out Gardner Minshew. I mean, not a bad starter, but probably not the most ideal. I'm going to give the first game in the rebooted Jim Harbaugh era to the Chargers, and hopefully this is something that they can build on moving forward in this season. Next up, we got the Broncos taking on the Seahawks, and honestly, I thought this game looked pretty bad at first, but now I'm actually kind of intrigued. We'll be seeing the Seahawks without Pete Carroll for the first time in what feels like forever. Go up against Sean Payton and the rookie quarterback Bo Nix. Now I know that this Broncos team doesn't look like it has a lot going for them, but at the same time they didn't last year and still were only a game away from a winning record. Even with that, I feel like Mike McDonald is going to bring in a whole new defensive element to this team, so give me the Seahawks winning this one. Next up, we have the game that I'm most excited for this week, and it's the Cowboys taking on the Browns. So many elements in this matchup. Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Both teams had two of the strongest defensive units last season, and both teams come off of getting completely embarrassed on wildcard weekend. Both teams are relatively stacked and could make some noise in the NFL this year, so this game is going to be a big test for both of them. Obviously, the biggest tiebreaker between the two comes down to the quarterback play, and I don't think it's crazy to say that I trust Dak Prescott more than Deshaun Watson, so give me the Cowboys barely squeezing this game out. Now next up, we got Washington, I am not calling them the Commanders, taking on the Buccaneers. Now this Buccaneers team is strange. They do have a good enough roster, they won their division last year and even won a playoff game, and Baker Mayfield was one bad interception away from making it to the NFC Championship. But even then, Tampa feels like a middle-of-the-pack team, if not slightly above average. It's not like they do anything crazy to blow out opponents, but they do just enough to not lose. Now we got this revamped Washington team coming in, led by Jaden Daniels and new head coach Dan Quinn. And there's a little bit more optimism in the fan base. I can honestly see this game staying very close, but I think Tampa Bay is going to do just enough to not lose this one. Now for Sunday Night Football, we've got the wild card rematch with the Rams taking on the Lions. Yet another installment in the Stafford Goff saga, and following up an amazing wild card performance last January. Now the last time these teams faced off, the Rams kept it really close with the Lions, even with somewhat of a talent disadvantage. Biggest difference coming into this one though, it's going to be the first time the Rams will be without Aaron Donald in about a decade. But from what we've seen so far, Sean McVay is very confident in his defense, and Matthew Stafford looks to let it rip from the jump. But we also got Detroit, who if it weren't for a few questionable calls in the second half against San Francisco, they could be coming in as defending conference champion. But I think Dan Campbell's team is ready to roll, and they start the season off hot with a win against a team that will be forever linked to them in history. And to wrap up week 1, we got Monday Night Football with the Jets taking on the 49ers. Wait, Aaron Rodgers, week 1, Monday Night Football? Oh God, it's happening again. Aaron, for the love of God, do not pick up that flag again, please. All jokes aside, I think this Jets team definitely has a chance if Aaron Rodgers can make it past 4 snaps. That Jets defense can give Brock Purdy trouble all night. The same could be said about the 49ers defense to Aaron Rodgers. I feel like this could probably be one of the ugliest games of the week, but I'm going to go ahead and give the edge to San Francisco. I know they're probably not very happy about the way last season ended, so I know they want to start strong to atone for that Super Bowl loss. And this is what my week 1 picks look like. Be sure to let me know if there's anything you agree or disagree on, and I can't wait to see how wrong I am. Be sure to like and subscribe. Since football season's back, I'll definitely be putting out more content on this channel. Stay tuned for the next one and keep it trill.